Welcome to Tomorrow Unveiled. What if our digital lives weren't just stuck on screens in our pockets? What if they were truly integrated with us,
Yeah.
becoming like an extension of ourselves?
hmm
You imagine tech so seamless, it almost anticipates what you need, understands your intentions, maybe responds before you even consciously ask.
Right.
That's sort of the feeling we're exploring today as we get
Mhm.
strapped into the absolute cutting edge of wearable tech.
It's moving incredibly fast.
It really is. I mean, just the past 7 days have brought some genuinely groundbreaking developments. It shows how wearables are moving way beyond just, collecting data.
Yeah, simple tracking is almost old news now.
Exactly. They're becoming these sophisticated human-computer interfaces, not just tracking us, but actually amplifying our capabilities. Feels like a really pivotal moment.
I agree.
And our dedicated research team, they've pulled together a stack of fascinating sources on this. Each one gives us a glimpse into this accelerating future. So, our mission today on Tomorrow Unveiled is to dig into that research, pull out the most important nuggets, and help you understand what's really transforming how humans and computers interact.
And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is that we're seeing a real paradigm shift. Wearables are evolving so quickly from just passive sensors, like your basic step tracker.
Right, the early Fitbits and things.
Exactly, to active systems designed to create this deep, bi-directional connection between you and the digital world. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't just about, small updates to the gadgets we already have.
Yeah, it feels bigger than that.
It is. It's really about establishing the next dominant personal computing platform, one that's ambient, context-aware, and, crucially, intimately integrated with the human nervous system.
Wow, ambient, context-aware, integrated with our nervous system.
Yeah.
That's a heavy concept. So computing becomes almost invisible,
Yeah,
woven into our lives.
precisely. That's the goal.
Okay, so with that kind of fundamental shift happening, the big question is, what does this actually mean for how we interact with technology, day to day? And honestly, this is where it gets really interesting.
Well, our research team highlights a very clear trend here. The whole companion device era, where wearables were just sort of accessories to your smartphone.
Yeah, I needed the phone for everything.
That seems to be drawing to a close pretty rapidly, actually. Major global players are now aiming to create these independent interaction layers. Layers that could honestly one day completely reshape or maybe even supplant your phone.
It really does sound like a high-stakes tech race then.
Yeah.
A race for the future of personal computing.
Let's unpack some of the biggest moves from just this past week, because these feel like significant markers. Agreed. And we've seen some major strategic plays, particularly in things like smart glasses and AI-powered wearables. It really signals where the industry is placing its bets.
Okay, first up, Amazon. They just made a, $50 million splash acquiring a startup called Bee. What's the significance here? How does this fit that ambient computing idea?
Right. B. Their main device is this $49.99 bracelet. It pairs with an Apple Watch app. But the core concept is continuous conversational recording.
Recording conversations, okay.
Yeah, to automatically generate reminders, to-do lists, contextual info, things like that. They call it a cloud phone concept. It aims to turn just your casual spoken interactions into actionable digital assistants. So this acquisition, it really marks Amazon's deep dive into truly pervasive wearable AI and ambient intelligence. It's basically making everyday chatter a dynamic source for personal assistance.
Monetizing our casual speech, essentially.
That's one way to look at it. Yes, productizing it.
And Samsung isn't holding back either, right? They launched their new Galaxy Watch 8. What kind of leap are we seeing there on the wrist?
That's right. This new watch integrates Google's Gemini AI assistant. It's got some pretty advanced features like, get this, 3,000 nits peak brightness.
3,000 nits. That's incredibly bright for a watch screen.
It is. And what that means for you, the user, is that the screen is super vivid, but crucially, perfectly readable even in direct sunlight. That's been a real challenge for wearables.
Definitely.
It also includes intuitive gesture control, flicking your wrist for actions, and AI-powered health monitoring. They've even added antioxidant index measurement now.
Antioxidant index, what does that tell you?
It gives users a metric that sort of reflects their cellular health, their body's defense against oxidative stress. It's seen as a key indicator for overall well-being. Plus, it has personalized running coaching algorithms.
Wow.
So it's really pushing the benchmarks for human-computer interaction directly from the wrist, making it a powerful sort of independent computing hub.
Okay, so deep AI, amazing screen tech on our wrists. But you mentioned smart glasses. That feels like the real battleground, doesn't it? Putting AI right on our faces. It still sounds like science fiction, but it seems to be happening incredibly fast.
Exactly. And we're seeing really divergent strategies here from the major players. Everyone's trying to define what that personal computer on your face will look like, feel like, and how we'll interact with it very soon.
Let's start with Meta. I heard they're doing something pretty wild with neural interfaces. What's their specific angle?
Yeah, Meta's Reality Labs, they published some truly groundbreaking research. It's on a non-invasive wrist-worn interface using something called surface electromyography, or SEMG.
SEMG, so reading muscle signals.
Essentially, yes. But the breakthrough is that it captures the intent to move milliseconds before a physical action actually occurs. Even from tiny micro movements you can't even see.
Intent, wow.
Yeah, this allows for incredibly subtle, fast control. Imagine navigating a cursor, typing messages just by thinking about moving your fingers slightly without touching anything.
That's mind-bending.
It really is. The profound insight here isn't just controlling devices. It's about dissolving that barrier between your thought and the action. Technology becomes almost a subconscious extension of your will. You move from interacting with to intending with your tech.
Intending with, I like that.
And crucially, they developed a generalized AI model trained on over 10,000 people. This solves a huge, long-standing problem with SEMG, the need for constant recalibration for each user.
Ah, okay. That makes it practical.
Exactly. And in a really significant move, Meta's actually open sourcing its SEMG data. They want to accelerate research and help establish this as the dominant control method for augmented reality.
Controlling tech with intent. That's revolutionary. But while Meta's exploring these deep interfaces, others are focusing on integrating AI into our actual vision, right?
Yeah.
What about Alibaba? Huge player in Asia.
Right. Alibaba is apparently set to unveil its first self-developed AI glasses this week. Their strategy seems to be deep integration with their massive digital service empire.
So linking into their existing apps.
Exactly. Imagine navigating with their AMP mapping service, paying with Alipay, comparing prices on Taobao, all happening directly through the glasses, overlaid seamlessly onto your view of the real world.
A walled garden on your face?
Pretty much. Their AI runs on their own large language model, Quinn. It's a very integrated ecosystem play, definitely designed to keep users within their services.
And Google and Samsung, they're working together on this. What's their strategy in this smart glasses ecosystem war?
Yes, Google and Samsung are collaborating. They seem to be taking a more, let's say, measured approach. There are rumors of a launch for their Android XR smart glasses, maybe early 2026.
2026, so it further out.
Seems like it. Their philosophy is different too. It's the smartphone as a server model.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means keeping the glasses themselves lightweight and power efficient by offloading the really intensive AI processing to your connected Android phone.
So the phone does the heavy lifting.
Precisely. They'll feature deep integration with Google's Gemini AI, of course. The demos apparently show impressive stuff like real-time translation, object recognition, all happening right there in your vision. It's a calculated move to leverage the existing smartphone power most people already carry.
Okay, so the giants are definitely vying for this space. But is this tech just for the high end? Or are we seeing it become more accessible, more mainstream?
That's a great question. And it's not just the giants. Our research team also flagged WearEQ. They're a Californian startup. They launched smart Bluetooth glasses for just $30 at Walmart.
$30, wow.
Yeah. It really shows how even casual eyewear can become a computing platform, you know? Built-in speakers, mics, voice assistants for hands-free stuff.
Makes it much more accessible.
Definitely. And then you have Apple doubling down on spatial computing with visionOS 26 for the Vision Pro. They're bringing generative AI, multi-user collaboration into those immersive experiences. And maybe most interestingly for the future, Qualcomm demonstrated a small language model running entirely on AR smart glasses. No cloud connection needed.
Running locally, that's huge, right, for privacy and speed.
Absolutely huge. It means instant responses, much better privacy since data doesn't leave the device, and no reliance on an internet connection. It really pushes that vision of robust on-device AI much closer.
So yeah, everything from subtle risk control based on intent to full-blown AI assistance on our faces, even running locally. It really does feel like science fiction becoming reality, and incredibly quickly. But none of this happens in a vacuum. It relies on incredible research behind the scenes. What are the foundational breakthroughs actually making this level of integration possible?
That's a crucial point. What is the underlying science? We're looking at really significant advances in a few key areas. neural interfaces, haptic feedback, and that on-device computing power we just touched on. These are fundamentally enabling this deeper human-computer integration.
Hey, let's start with neural interfaces. You mentioned Meta's wristband, but are we talking actual brain implants too? Or are there non-invasive options moving forward as well?
We are talking about both, actually. In the invasive realm, Neuralink just reached a major milestone this past week. They successfully implanted their brain-computer interface, their BCI device, in their 8th and 9th human participants.
8th and 9th already. And the goal there.
The main goal for these initial implants is to allow individuals with paralysis to control computers or mobile devices using only their thoughts. One early patient is already playing video games and online chess just by thinking.
That's truly amazing, life-changing.
It absolutely is. And their blind sight project aims even higher, trying to restore vision to the blind by directly stimulating the visual cortex. These efforts have received FDA breakthrough device designation.
Which means faster review, right? Because of the potential impact.
Exactly. It accelerates the review and development due to the potential for treating really severe, debilitating conditions.
Incredible potential there. But, okay, implants aren't for everyone. What about non-invasive approaches? People who aren't seeking surgery, the progress happening there too?
Absolutely. Huge progress. On the non-invasive side, a company called Cognition also earned an FDA breakthrough device designation. They have an AR headset with a built-in EEG-based BCI.
EEG, so reading brainwaves from the scalp.
Right. It's designed specifically to help users with severe communication impairments communicate just using their neural signals, literally turning thoughts into words or commands displayed in the AR view. And researchers at Carnegie Mellon also achieved continuous finger-level control of robotic hands using non-invasive brain signals. This is really democratizing BCI tech, Removing the need for surgery makes it potentially accessible to so many more people.
So we're not just seeing the digital world, we might be controlling it with our thoughts soon. What about feeling the digital world? Haptics, I guess. Are we getting beyond just simple buzzing in our phones?
Oh, way beyond. Northwestern University unveiled a completely new class of haptic actuator. It's capable of what they call full freedom of motion.
Full freedom of motion. What does that feel like?
Well, unlike just simple vibrations, this tiny millimeter-scale device can simulate really complex tactile sensations, things like stretching, twisting, sliding.
Oh.
The implications are pretty profound. For immersive VRR, imagine feeling the texture of a virtual object. For remote healthcare, maybe a doctor feeling a patient through telepresence, or even just feeling the texture of fabric before you buy it online.
That would be incredible.
And Boreas Technologies also unveiled their 3rd-gen piezo-based haptics. That's for really precise tactile confirmation, maybe in car dashboards or other controls. Uses tiny electrical pulses to create these incredibly sharp, realistic clicks and textures. Makes digital buttons feel physically real.
Okay, this is all amazing tech. But it must need incredible processing power, right? How do they keep these wearables small and power efficient? That seems like a massive challenge, especially for all-day wear.
It's absolutely critical, and this is where the intelligent edge really comes into play. Our research team highlighted work from places like the University of Hong Kong. They're pioneering something called in-sensor computing.
In-sensor computing.
Yeah, it fundamentally changes the power game for wearables. Instead of sensing data and then sending it to a separate chip for processing, they're integrating the sensing and the processing into a single, flexible hardware unit.
Ah, so less data movement equals less power used.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It leads to extremely low power consumption. Plus, there are all these new hardware architectures and specialized lightweight machine learning models designed specifically for the tight constraints of wearables. It's all about ensuring all-day battery life.
Makes sense.
It really becomes this virtuous cycle. Better interfaces demand better on-device AI, and better on-device AI enables more sophisticated, power-efficient interfaces. It makes these powerful devices actually practical for daily use.
It's really incredible to see the foundational science moving so fast. But let's bring it back to the ground level. What are the real-world applications we're seeing right now, and where is this heading across different sectors?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing these technologies finding really significant footholds already across industrial settings, medical applications, and of course, entertainment. It shows a clear path from that breakthrough research to practical impact. It's already changing lives and industries.
Let's talk healthcare and restoration first. What's actually happening on the ground there?
In healthcare, we're seeing things like continuous monitoring of vital signs. Devices like the BioBeat cuffless vital sign patch are an example. There's advanced diabetes management tools, tremor relief wearables like the Felix Neuro AI therapeutic wristband.
Right.
Non-invasive monitors for things like glucose and blood pressure are gaining traction. And AI algorithms that, based on wearable data, can actually predict things like COVID infections days before symptoms even appear.
Wow, predictive health.
Exactly. And the restorative potential we talked about is huge. BCIs aiming to restore vision and motor control, new interfaces improving accessibility for people with severe motor impairments. It's genuinely empowering.
So yeah, wearables definitely aren't just for fitness tracking anymore. They're becoming serious, potentially life-changing medical tools. What about productivity, industry? How are these innovations being strapped in at work?
Enterprise settings are really proving grounds for a lot of this advanced wearable tech. AR smart glasses, for instance, are being used quite effectively for remote expertise.
How does that work?
A technician on site, say, streams their first-person view to an expert who could be anywhere in the world. The expert guides them through a complex repair or procedure. It saves huge amounts on travel costs, reduces downtime. We've seen examples from companies like BMW and DHL showing real benefits.
Makes sense, like having an expert looking over your shoulder.
Precisely. And in logistics, you have vision picking systems. These guide warehouse workers by overlaying instructions directly onto their field of view through smart glasses. It's shown to improve productivity by like 10–20%.
Wow.
And they're also transforming training and safety in hazardous environments, providing real-time data, checklists, warnings, without workers needing to look down at a tablet or manual.
Okay, healthcare, industry, and of course, entertainment and lifestyle. How are these advancements changing how we play and live? Beyond just gaming, maybe.
Well, gaming is definitely a big area. Haptic vests, gloves, creating deeply immersive experiences where you can feel the impacts or the environment.
Yeah, feel the game.
Right. But beyond that, neural interfaces are actually being explored as novel artistic tools. Imagine composing music based on your cognitive state or creating interactive visual art just by thinking or intending.
Whoa, mind art.
Kind of. And the fusion of AR/VR with generative AI lets users conjure up immersive environments on demand, literally creating new worlds around them with a thought or a word.
Okay, that's pretty wild.
And even everyday things like audio glasses, they enhance leisure activities pretty seamlessly, letting you listen to music, take calls, access AI assistants discreetly while you're just walking around or doing whatever. It's about making tech a seamless part of the experience, not an interruption.
This future sounds incredibly exciting almost utopian in some ways. But there have to be friction points, right? What should we, as listeners, be thinking about as these technologies become more pervasive, as they really do strap into our lives?
That raises a really important question, because the path to this fully strapped-in future, it's definitely not smooth. It's fraught with significant challenges that demand, frankly, immediate attention. And perhaps the most profound one is something we could call the neural privacy crisis.
The neural privacy crisis.
Always.
Yeah, okay, that sounds intense and, yeah, a little unsettling. What did that mean for us?
Well, it means that interfaces accessing continuous streams of our neural data brainwaves from EEG or our neuromotor data, like the intent signals from SEMG, are uniquely sensitive.
No, Scott.
They could potentially reveal our emotional states, mental health conditions, maybe even subconscious thoughts or intentions, things we aren't even aware of ourselves or certainly wouldn't want broadcast.
Right, that's deeply personal data.
Extremely. And this creates new targets for what some are calling cognitive hacking. Imagine someone trying to subtly influence your thought patterns based on this data or extract your private thoughts. Yeah. It also requires a really robust legal landscape for data governance, which frankly is currently fragmented and lagging way behind the tech. The profound insight here, I think, is that we're not just talking about safeguarding clicks or location data anymore. We're talking about potentially safeguarding the very sanctity of our internal mental landscape. What does it mean for you when your fleeting thoughts or emotional shifts could become a data point? Or worse, a target?
That's a huge ethical question.
It is. Some places, like Colorado and California, are already explicitly including neural data as a protected category in their privacy laws. But we desperately need a more comprehensive, maybe federal or even international standard.
So it's not just physical privacy, it's the privacy of our thoughts, our intentions.
Yeah.
That's a whole new ballgame. What about the devices themselves? Are there still practical hurdles for mass adoption, besides the privacy stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Despite all the rapid progress, there are still significant hurdles for mass adoption. Many AR headsets, still pretty bulky.
Yeah, not exactly stylish yet.
Right. Limited field of view is still an issue for many. Battery life often isn't sufficient for true all-day use, and thermal discomfort devices getting hot on your head or wrist is a real problem. And then there's the social acceptance problem, sometimes called the glass hole effect.
Ah, yeah, people feeling weird interacting with someone wearing smart glasses.
Exactly. People feeling recorded or feeling like the person they're talking to is distracted elsewhere in some digital world. That social barrier is real. And of course, cost and accessibility are still major concerns. High-end devices like the Apple Vision Pro, still way too expensive for most people.
Okay, usability, social factors, cost. And what about regulation? You mentioned the privacy laws lagging. Does tech just move too fast for the rules to keep up? Is there a clear framework?
That's another critical challenge, absolutely. There's this increasingly blurry line between consumer wellness devices like fitness trackers and regulated medical devices.
Where's the line?
It's getting harder to define. The FDA, for instance, has issued warnings to companies, like Whoop was mentioned in the research, when their devices start providing health estimates that look a lot like diagnoses. It highlights this growing gray area.
And that uncertainty must affect innovation, right?
Right. It could, significantly. The sheer velocity of innovation in wearables is just far outpacing the ability of legal and regulatory bodies to create coherent, unified frameworks. That creates uncertainty for developers, for investors, and ultimately for consumers, too.
So yeah, it's definitely not just about the cool tech itself. It's how we govern it, how we accept it socially, how we manage the profound ethical implications. Given all this, the rapid progress and the serious challenges, what's the overall outlook? What can we expect in wearable tech over the next few years?
I think the outlook is definitely an accelerated transition towards this idea of invisible, intuitive computing. The wearable tech market itself is projected for absolutely explosive growth. The research team cited figures reaching potentially $186 billion by 2030.
$186 billion. Wow.
Yeah. So the primary trend we'll likely see is this intense market battle between the big smart glasses ecosystems. Meta, Google, Samsung, Alibaba, maybe Apple eventually jumping in more directly, and success. It's probably going to hinge less on just the hardware specs and more on their software platforms, their developer ecosystems, and critically on solving those usability and social acceptance challenges we just talked about.
Right. Making them comfortable, useful, and not awkward.
Exactly. And in parallel, you'll see lawmakers and regulators racing to establish clearer rules for neural data privacy, for that wellness versus medical device distinction. The outcomes of those efforts will profoundly shape the design and even the viability of future strapped-in technologies. We can also expect generative AI to get baked even deeper into AR and VR platforms, creating smarter, more context-aware, more personalized experiences. On-glasses AI providing instant guidance, instant information. And biosignal AI enabling that seamless control, making devices truly responsive to our intentions, maybe even our subconscious cues.
Okay, now before we wrap up, a quick reminder for everyone tuning in. If you're finding this conversation on Tomorrow Unveiled insightful and you're watching on YouTube, please do take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Tomorrow Unveiled, and definitely turn on those notifications so you don't miss our future explorations.
And if you're listening on an audio platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could leave us a rating and review for Tomorrow Unveiled. It honestly really helps us reach new listeners who are curious about the future.
Absolutely. And we genuinely love hearing your thoughts. Whether you're on YouTube or your favorite podcast app, drop a comment and let us know what you think about this wearable tech revolution. Is it exciting? A bit scary? Both. So, yeah, what an incredible deep dive into the world of wearable technology today. The developments, even just from the past week, they really paint a clear picture, don't they? Wearables are getting so much smarter, way more immersive, and deeply connected to our bodies, more than ever before. We are truly, it seems, moving into an era where computing isn't just something we carry around. It's something we naturally wear, something we embody, seamlessly integrated into our lives.
And if we connect that back to the really big picture, the industry isn't just strapping sensors onto the body anymore. It feels like it's building the interfaces that will eventually strap the digital world directly to our nervous system.
Directly to our nervous system.
Yeah, and that raises, I think, a really important, maybe provocative question for you, the listener, to mull over after this. What does it actually mean for us, for humanity, when our digital world becomes literally strapped into our nervous system? How might that fundamentally change what it even means to be human in this incredibly rapidly evolving landscape?